Hello everyone. In today's lecture we are going to discuss the effective mass of an electron. So as we all know, a free electron has a well-defined mass and it obeys Newton's law of motion. If this is the free electron and it is placed in an electric field E, then it obeys Newton's law of motion and has well-defined mass, means its mass is fixed when placed in an electric field. So what will be the force on the electron? It is given by minus negative sign E. E is the electric field and force F, and this force will act opposite to the electric field. But the mass of an electron when placed in a periodic potential is not constant, and it varies with the wave number k. K के साथ ये vary करता है. Free electron का, when the electron was free, means when it is not placed under any external potential, then its mass is constant. Mass, I write it as constant. This is for a free electron. Free electron. But when it is placed in a varying potential of a crystal lattice, the mass is not going to constant. Mass is not constant. This mass is not constant when it is under the effect of some external potential of the crystal lattice. This is what we are going to see in this topic, right? So we will begin with the group velocity of the wave associated with the electron. This is the electron moving in this direction, then there will be a number of waves, group of waves, and if I represent the velocity of the group as Vg, then V will be the particle velocity, will be the group velocity in this case. So group velocity Vg associated with the wave can be written as d omega by dk. This is the formula we use for the group velocity. Group velocity d omega by dk, where omega is the angular frequency, k is the wave vector. This omega means angular frequency. Angular frequency can be written as E by h cross. How come this omega is written as E by h cross? Because E is h nu. I divide it by 2 pi, multiplied by 2 pi. Nu is there, so this becomes h cross, and this is omega. So from here I have omega is equal to E by h. So this I can use in this group velocity equation. So in this case I will be this equation 1 will become d by d k of omega by k, sorry, E by h. E by h. What I have done is I have transformed omega into in terms of E by h. Now h is constant, can be taken out. H by h, 1 by h, and this becomes dE by dk. This equation I am marking as equation number 3. This is for the velocity, group velocity of the waves associated with the electron. Now when this electron is placed in an external field, the force on the electron in an electric field E I should not be using E as electric field because I have used E for energy. So let me introduce a new constant, a new term. This is new notation for this electric field, Chi. I am representing the electric field by the symbol Chi. So the force F will be minus E of Chi. This is the force acting on the electron when it is placed in an external field represented by Chi. So work done. A small work done dW in moving the electron through a small distance dx. Small distance dx will be how much? dW is what? F dx. Force multiplied by distance. Force is your minus E Chi dx. Dx can be written as dx upon dt multiplied by dt. So dx by dt becomes velocity E Chi v dt. Minus E Chi v dot. This equation is my fifth equation. So the work done has been written in terms of velocity now, right? So the gain in energy can be written as, this is what? Gain in energy of the electron. So this will be same as this work done. So dE can be written as minus E Chi v dt. Now I'll substitute 1 by h dE by dk for this velocity. This was equation number 3rd, I guess, wherein we have written an expression for v. So v becomes 1 by h dE by dk. dE gets cancelled out, and I have dk by dt is equal to minus E Chi h cross. This is the sixth equation. dk by dt is equal to minus E cross E Chi dH by dt. Now acceleration. A on the electron would be, acceleration means dV by dt of v. I'll substitute this equation again, 1 by h bar dE upon dk so this becomes 1 by h can be taken out, sorry, I'll differentiate it twice with respect to k, but I was supposed to differentiate with respect to t, so that is why I'll multiply it by dt, dk upon dt. dk upon dt, we can choose value from equation number 6. So this will be 1 by h cross dk upon dt, means e j upon h. So h will become squared, e j upon h cross square d2e d k square. Equation number 7. So this is the value of acceleration on the electron when it is moving under a periodic potential, means it is in the crystal lattice. But the acceleration on any free electron, when the electron is free, the acceleration a on the free electron is how much? F by m. This is nothing but Newton's law, F is equal to ma. So F is how much? Minus E j, electric field, j is electric field upon m. Let me call it equation number 8. Now I am going to compare these two equations. This is for the electron in a periodic potential, and this equation is when the electron is not under periodic potential but it is free. So this is for free electron, this is for electron in a periodic potential. If I compare them, this thing can be substituted for 1 by m star, because it can be written as minus E j upon h bar square like this. So if you compare this with this equation, so it means it means this is representing my m. Okay, this is representing my m. So now the mass has been changed and it is represented by h bar square upon d2e dk2. The free electron mass was constant, but this mass is not constant, and it is represented by m star and is known as effective mass of the electron in a periodic potential. So let me write it as h bar square b square e upon dk square. So clearly the effective mass of an electron in a periodic potential is not constant, but it is depending on d2e upon dk square. H is constant obviously, but the effective mass is not constant, it is depending on d2e upon dk2. So means it is depending on the ek curve, E versus k curve. This is the importance of the ek curve. The effective mass is depending on ek curve. Perhaps you will remember that this ek curve, E versus k curve. So the effective mass is depending on this curve for the electron, or I can say that the effective mass m star is a function of k. So effective mass m star is a function of k, right? So for periodic potential, the electron, when the electron is under the effect of a periodic potential, its mass is not constant, it varies according to this equation. So clearly this equation shows that effective mass is depending on d2e upon dk2, that is, it is depending on the ek curve. So m can be written as a function of wave vector. Okay, few important things about the effective mass. Okay, if we plot the graph between effective mass and k, it will look like this. So this is the graph, this one. This is the graph between effective mass and wave number k. And while it is ek curve as usual, you all may be knowing this is ek curve. Here we have plotted energy along the y-axis, and along x-axis we have plotted k. So this sort of curve we all know. So this is called the upper half band of the curve, and this is lower half band of the ek curve. So as you clearly see, with increase in this wave number k, effective mass is increasing. Along y-axis I have plotted effective mass m star. So with increase in k, effective mass is increasing, becomes maximum at the point of inflection, and then it starts to decrease and becomes negative here. So in the lower half of the band, lower half of the energy band, the effective mass is positive, and in the upper half band of energy, the effective mass is negative. So this is one important fact from the mk curve. If I write the equation for effective mass, h bar square d square e dk square. So first point is this one, that with increase in k, the effective mass increases, becomes maximum at point of inflection, then it becomes negative. Second point could be the effective mass becomes infinite at this point, known as point of inflection, because at point of inflection we have d2e upon dk2 will be 0. So if this term is 0, so effective mass becomes infinite. Effective mass becomes infinite. So this means that in the lower half of the band, the effective mass is behaving like a heavy particle. Third one is, in the upper half band, the effective mass is negative. In the lower half band, the effective mass is positive. So this is about the third point. Now fourth point could be, for a free electron, E can be written as h square k square upon 2m. So this is parabolic dependence of energy E with k. So for free electron, this curve won't be like this, this will be like this, parabolic dependence. So but for periodic potential, the dependence is not parabolic. Remember this thing. For free electron, the dependence of E on k is parabolic. So if I differentiate it with respect to k, this will give me h square s bar square 2k upon 2m. 2 gets cancelled out, and double differentiation of this with respect to k again, and this is going to give me h square by m. So if I substitute in the equation for effective mass, it becomes h square by m. So gets cancelled. So this becomes equal to m. So it means that for a free electron, the effective mass is equal to the free electron mass. This is very important conclusion. For free electron, the effective mass is equal to the free electron mass. It means that when the electron is moving in a periodic potential, its energy can be written as h bar square k square 2m star. This is for a electron, energy of an electron in a periodic potential. What I have done is replaced this m with n star. So this holds for an electron moving in a periodic potential, and this holds for a free electron. So that's all from me as far as this effective mass of an electron is concerned. So if you liked the video, please like it, subscribe the channel, and please share the video. Thank you very much for watching the video.